Uh-oh. What's good, everybody? My name is Belden, and today I'm going to be talking about tools that you need to build your Gunpla kit from beginning to end, and then also if you are ready and willing to start painting your new kit, then obviously I have tools that you need for that as well. But the first thing you need, this is corny, the first thing you need is a model kit, right? Like, you can't build nothing if you don't have nothing. So this one right here that I have is a RG-144 Sinanju. You guys seen this one already. It's pretty cool. In my opinion, you should buy something that looks cool to you. And you look at the shelf and you're like, I want that one. But don't blow your entire budget on that one model kit. Make sure that you save a little bit for, I don't know, like detail up parts or tools. I mean, obviously tools, because you're gonna have to be able to put this thing together without destroying your fingers, right? So find something that it just stands out to you, and find something that is within your budget, but at the same time, the most expensive kit that you can afford to spend on. So if your cap is $200, then obviously you got a wide range of stuff. Not saying that $100 or $50 is lacking in that department, but you know what I mean? Find something that fits within your budget and find something that looks cool. I feel like a lot of people tend to buy stuff to practice on, and I feel like when you buy something to practice on, it's as a throwaway kit, in the back of your mind, it's like, well, if I mess up, oh well. Whereas if you buy something that you like, and you know what I mean, you watch the anime and you're like, oh, I want that kit right there in a 1/100 scale. Go online, search it, boom, you find it, right? At least that way, when you have something you like, you kind of take your time and you pay attention to what you're doing and you're not careless, right? You don't want to be careless in this stuff, because you're going to mess something up and then there's going to be no reversing that. And if it is possible, sometimes it is, it's just a pain in the neck to do. So you want to look at price. To check the price, it's at the end of this, top of this barcode right here. Those last numbers, you just move the decimal places over twice, and that's how much it is. This one says 3,800 yen. Move the decimal places over twice, and it's $38 roughly. Sometimes the stores are gonna mark it up a little bit more, trying to make money. Oh well, just pay the price, right? Or find it someplace else. It's up to you. I personally like to buy them at the store because I like to look at the boxes. I'm just weird like that, but you know what I mean. Find whatever works for you. If online stuff works, do that. If you want to go to the store, do that. It's all cool. Now, to the tools. I have on this table right here, I have everything. I have majority of the stuff that I use. I left a little bit of stuff out because it just didn't fit on the table. But I'm going to show you guys this table real quick, and then we can kind of go over basically the tools that you need. All right, so this is pretty much all you need when it comes to building and painting a kit. Obviously, this is just an example when it comes to paint. But I'm gonna kind of go over what everything is and then kind of talk a little bit about them. I'm not gonna go too in depth on everything because I don't want this video to be too long, but I will eventually make a video on each specific tool to kind of give you guys a more in-depth look at it, and not, you know what I mean, fill this video up with a bunch of nonsense, right? Like, we don't want, some people just don't want to, they don't want to know. So I'm gonna separate everything, and that's just the way I am too, so that's how the videos are just gonna be made, I guess. So anyways, you got your wet palette here. I don't have the parchment paper in there, I just have the paper towel. You're gonna need some sort of pot. Glass is the best because they last forever, but if you don't have glass, anything works. As long as it can hold water, that's all that really matters, right? And obviously you got your paints here. You're gonna need some sort of sanding paper or sanding tool of some sort, not anything coarse. I believe this one's a 200 grit. It doesn't say in there, but I believe it's 200 grit. And side cutters, you got your X-Acto knife, which I should be putting it over here, your file, and then paint brushes. And that's really all you need. When it comes to building the kit, you're really only gonna need side cutters, and side cutters are literally for cutting your parts off of the sprues, and then the sanding paper or sanding stick or sanding block or whatever you decide to use is basically to clean off those little cut marks or those nubs that are left over on the pieces. And that's pretty much all you need when it comes to cutting the pieces out, putting them together. You can use an X-Acto knife to clean off the nubs. I don't suggest it because it will gouge out your kits. A lot of people can probably attest to that too. So please avoid using them. You can if you want to kind of practice. Be very careful with it. You will cut your hands. I've done it before, and I'm sure like many other people that build, they have also cut their hands. It's just the nature of it, right? It just comes with the territory. If you don't cut yourself, it's not your kit, right? No, don't, please don't cut yourselves. And then there's also like a file like this. This is pretty coarse. I like using this to kind of knock down the nub and then using the sandpaper to clean it off, but for somebody new, you really don't need it. All you really need is the sandpaper and the side cutters. These two are kind of optional if you want them. It's up to you. Now, as far as painting is concerned, you need at least one brush, 0 size. I think it goes, the size down is 00, and then it starts getting weird on sizes, but 0 is probably the smallest you want to go because it's small enough to do small details, but it's big enough to kind of do decent coverage. If you feel like it's a little too small, then you can kind of go up. I would go up to like a size 2 would probably be the maximum I would go. You can do a size 1. It's big enough, but it's up to you. If you want to do if you want to go up 2 sizes, it's cool. I occasionally use a size 2. I guess it's kind of based on how you feel is sufficient, but first starting off, 0 is probably the way to go in my opinion. I would get maybe 2 zeros and use 1 as your dry brush if you want to go the route of doing the dry brush style on your model kits. And the reason why you want to use 2 is because it frays the brush extremely fast. This one is actually more worse off than the other ones, but I really don't take care of the dry brushes because it makes it look a lot cooler when it is frayed like that. But I don't know, it's up to you. It's more of like kind of feeling and finding kind of like your art style when it comes to painting. But I kind of like this real beat up look. It's pretty cool. I kind of like it. But this is also a 0. I believe this is also 0. Yeah, so this one's also 0. So you can tell the difference between the 2 zeros. It's like, you know what I mean? So 2 of them should be more than enough. And obviously you need paints. And the paints are going to be based on the colors you want to use for your kit specifically. In my opinion, I've noticed that white and black are probably the hardest ones to make look correct because for some reason they always come out looking like primer, and I'll get into kind of like the techniques in a separate video. But just to kind of give you an example, I have Reaper, I have Vallejo, Citadel, P3, and then Tamiya. Now, if you notice, Tamiya is the only one in the glass container, even though these are all acrylic. That kind of gives you an idea that this is alcohol-based versus water-based. Usually water-based comes in a plastic container of some sort, and the alcohol-based usually comes in glass. Obviously, if you use, I believe this is enamel, it also comes in glass. These two I would completely avoid when you're using the wet palette because it doesn't come out the same when you use these versus these, right? Obviously enamel is out of the game completely, but I may make a video on the different types of paints. And the reason why I have Tamiya here is because I use them strictly for metallic type of paints like golds and silvers and gunmetals and stuff. These have the flakes in them. It gives it a cool effect on your model kits. So that's why I have this. Now, as far as these, I kind of moved away from using the Citadel and the P3s only because it's just difficult to get the paint from the pot to your wet palette. So using the eyedropper style is a lot more efficient, and it's just a lot more cleaner when it comes to transferring paint over. And also, if you want to move to doing airbrushes, right? No airbrushes. But if you want to do airbrushes, then you can just drop these in the pot. It's a lot easier versus trying to mix it and do all this other crazy stuff. But I believe you still have to thin out the paint. Don't quote me on that. Obviously, I don't use airbrush, but it's similar, right? It's similar. It's not the same, but it's similar. And yeah, and then your pot. And that's pretty much all you need. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Again, I'm going to go in detail on paints and brushes and taking care of different tools and all that stuff in a separate video. But hopefully that helped. Hopefully it was informative. If you guys have any questions, again, comment down below. Concerns, whatever, let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.